Hello students, in this module I will be talking about the formation of polypeptide chain, step number 2, which is called as elongation. Look, listen and learn. So let us see what goes on in the step of elongation. What you see here basically is a picture of the initiation complex. Is that okay? Recollect all the parts of the initiation complex, right? Now, remember that elongation is done by the formation of peptide linkages. And what is a peptide linkage? By definition, a peptide linkage or a peptide bond is a bond between two successive amino acid molecules in a protein or a polypeptide. Is that okay? Now let us see how the process of elongation really happens. Okay, so you're looking at the first amino acid tRNA complex. And where do you think it is bound on the ribosome? You got it right. It is bound on the P site. Absolutely true. To the right of P site, you have another site. And what was that site? You guessed it right. It is called as the A site. Now what happens at the A site? At the A site, the codon is read, and then what happens is a tRNA molecule carrying the right amino acid will go and bind there in the presence of GTP. Is that okay? Then see what happens. In the next step, the whole complex will move, right, in such a way that the first amino acid detaches from its tRNA and goes and binds to the second amino acid, now on the P site. Is it okay? And this bond you see between the two amino acids is called as the peptide linkage. Now this activity takes place in the presence of an enzyme called as peptidyl transferase because it transfers the amino acid from one spot to the other. Is that okay? Now see what happens. Once again, the A site is empty. The codon is read, and yet another tRNA carrying amino acid will enter, and the empty tRNA will just exit. Is it okay? And that site is now referred to as the E site or the exit site because from there the empty tRNA just took an exit. Is that okay? Fine. So still more movement, and still what you see up there is basically nothing but the amino acids move from the tRNA to the tRNA on the P site, and now you see that the polypeptide chain just got elongated. Is that okay? Now let us recollect something here. What you really see here basically is the A site. And what happened at the A site? At the A site, each tRNA complex brings a specific amino acid after reading the codon. The next site here is the P site. Now what happens at the P site? At the P site, you see the elongation of the polypeptide chain with the help of an enzyme called as peptidyl transferase. And finally, the third site, which is the E site, it is there where you will see that the tRNA, which is now empty and has no amino acid, will simply make an exit from the ribosome. Is that okay? Now, let us move on further. Let us go ahead and take the same complex right here and let us see how the process of translation really happens. Okay? Keep observing. Keep looking at all the sites here very carefully. Okay? Let's go ahead and label them. The P site. Okay? Then the A site, as lastly the E site. Now closely look how what you would see on the A side, you will have amino acids entering on the tRNA. On the P side, you will see the elongation of the polypeptide chain. And on the E side, you would see an empty tRNA molecule exiting the ribosome. Let us see, observe and learn. So there you go. You starting it, there's an entry of amino acid on the A side, GTP is required. Then there's a slight movement, right? What happens? Peptide bond formation. Correct? Right? And then what happens? Once again, another molecule of amino acid on the tRNA. Again GTP, the empty tRNA just exited, some more movement, and once again peptide bond formation. Is that okay? Then, one more. Yes, on the A side, GTP is required, again some movement, and what you're really seeing is on the P side, slowly and steadily, the protein chain or the polypeptide chain is getting elongated. And that is why this step is called as elongation. Just keep observing what's happening here. Is that okay? Slowly and steadily, you see the tRNA with amino acid entering on the A side, correct? Then you see a slight displacement in the entire structure, right? And then you keep seeing on the P side there is elongation of the polypeptide chain by addition of one amino acid at a time. And the empty RNA keeps exiting from the E side. Is that okay? Keep observing, keep looking, and keep learning. Is that okay? Now, is it over? Not yet. There's one more round remaining, and let's do it. Last round, the final amino acid entering the ribosome. GTP required, slight movement, and then you go. Absolutely. This step is called as elongation of polypeptide. Is that okay? And what really happens ultimately? Ultimately, what you see that the process will require several other elongation factors, and what you end up with this long chain of amino acid, which you can rightfully call it as protein. You got that absolutely correct. Is that okay? Right? And remember, during elongation, the ribosome moves on the mRNA, and what it does, that mRNA is read one codon at a time, from start codon to stop codon, from 5' to 3' direction, because you know that the polarity of genetic code is 5' to 3'. And this movement of ribosome on the mRNA and the entire thing's moving is called as nothing but translocation. Is that okay? And this entire step is called a step of elongation. Okay? So in this module, I looked at the formation of polypeptide chain, step 2, which was elongation. In the next module, I'll be talking about the final step of the formation of polypeptide chain, which is nothing but the termination step. Is that okay? Thank you and take care.
तू लवणे ना